So you got the base. There's the top part. There's some bearings and stuff that go in there. These are the bearings. So it uses a little bearing in it. The nut, it's basically the little press to put the Johnny joint together. There's a sleeve that you push through, then basically that washers just hold together. So when you store it, yeah, there's some other little washers. There's a bunch of little pieces that go together in this thing. It's actually a little more complicated than when you look at it. There's more pieces in it because it actually has washers in it. There's a little snap ring that holds it together. So it looks like he's getting ready to put together a batch of them right now.
Awesome.
But if you've ever tried to rebuild your Johnny joints without the tool, then you realize how handy the tool is.
And you press it down for as slowly as you can. Once it's in, you get the snap ring, put the snap ring on, find the right size tool, and bada bing, bada boom.
A lot of the stuff that we're selling on an everyday basis, like retail stuff, is they're just pulling off the shelf. When they get like a big order from let's say a suspension company that uses our Johnny joints, that's built in bulk, then they'll build those like individually and shipped in bulk instead of, you're not going to ship 1,000 Johnny joints in little tiny boxes like that. So, but if a customer calls up and orders 8 Johnny joints, they'll just pull them off the shelf. So, you go back, you can see the Johnny joint balls here. There's more up here. They're popular sizes. All kinds of different stuff here. So these are all Johnny joint balls. We try to keep similar stuff in similar areas, so when you're looking for something, you kind of have an idea where it's at. Normally, if you come in here and ask for a part number, I'm going to have no idea where it's at here. They're going to have to look it up on the computer and go, hey, where's that such and so? And they'll go find it. Where it used to be in the old days where, oh, you want a what? I could walk out there and grab it off the shelf. Now it's like there's so many different part numbers that, most of the time they have to find it on the computer and then it'll tell them where it's at. Wave our arms, different. Usually waiting to go in the machine shop. Like those are some spindles for Currie, different stuff that's waiting to go in the machine shop. So normally, like they'll cut the raw material, stack it there. Then as the machine shop gets the work order for it, they'll pull it from here and take it in the machine shop. And we'll take a loop through the machine shop as well.
John, you make everything here except springs, right?
We don't make springs here. Most of our, like a lot of the forgings for the Johnny joint, those come from overseas. But all the balls, all the urethane is made by Energy Suspension, so all of our urethane is from here. This is a big order, the full floating spindle for Currie. We're doing the first op on it, which is, it's fully machined. It will go out for heat treat. When it comes back from heat treat, we'll thread it and put a finished pass on it. So so that's what he's working on right there. We have a job running on here. I don't know what he's working on. They're probably getting ready to set that up on a new job. That mill we just bought this year, so we keep it pretty busy. We just put that in the beginning of this year. Job we're running for Currie. All we do is take that nut and we put it has a dipstick in it. So they drill it and tap it for a dipstick for their dip cover. So So basically, this threads into there. So it becomes a dipstick. This is a collar for a RockJock we're in. We're machining in here. A lot of the machining we do in here is actually not for RockJock, it's actually for Currie. The John Currie. This machines the Johnny joint balls. Basically, this machine almost runs full time to keep up with all the balls that we're doing. It has a bar feed. Basically, it'll self-load. When that bar is done, it'll self-load another bar. So they'll set those bars from there down on there, and then they go right into the machine. We actually have two of those. We have one on this side. This was kind of a backup. We always figured if this one broke, we could never keep up. So we bought up a backup machine just in case. Usually there's a bunch of sway bar arms or something that we have running that they're either in between jobs or something right now. It looks like little jobs are probably just getting going. It's just a little spacer for like that works on a tow bar for a TJ. For the tow bar mount, this is the spacer for the stock bumper. So it looks like they're just getting set up on that. Little 2-inch Johnny joint shell. This machine's running these right now. Being bar fed into there. One thing on the Johnny joints we've changed over the years is we actually use a heavier material, a quarter wall material, and then instead of putting a snap ring on both sides, we put a shoulder on the back side so it only has one snap ring. The original Johnny joints and a lot of the other copies of the Johnny joint use the snap ring on both sides. This was just a way that we can, just have less parts to fail. This one's running the big Johnny joint shell on it right now. So same thing, only uses one snap ring, only on the one side.
What application are these for?
These are like a weld-on Johnny joint for like a control arm where this is welded onto the arm. That's what these are for. Like our standard suspension has adjustable, a forged Johnny joint at one end, and then a weld-on Johnny joint at the other end. So all of our suspensions use Johnny joints on both ends. So that's the weld-on version. We make those in-house. This is actually a broach. This is where we put the spline in the sway bar arm, and we could spline. This is a 25 spline. We have a 35 spline, a 40 spline, and a 45 spline. So for the drive flanges on, like for the JK full floater, they're either 35 spline or 40 spline, and then for the desert floater, it's a 45 spline. So this is a gear hob here. This is one of the original machines my dad bought. That actually came off a Army or a Navy ship. That machine did. So we're still running that. So we make these little half gears. This is something we after all these years we still make for Taylor Dunn Manufacturing. They basically take that gear and cut it in half, and it's a steering gear for a 3-wheel vehicle. So they run together. So it runs together like this.
Interesting.
So that stuff's actually on the Currie side. So that was one machine that Raymond kept. So they run that machine themselves. But I'm the only one who knows how to run it. So I just spent 2 hours of training with your guys showing them how to run it, but Not too many people know how to run this old stuff anymore.
Yeah, no kidding.
The weird thing about this machine is very difficult. All the handles go the opposite direction of what you think they would go. So it's very easy for people to crash it. So let's come into this is our R&D and service area. So this is my pre-runner. I'm changing the rear end and putting the Currie rear end in it. So last year I ran it with somebody else's rear end, and so we built a new rear end for it this year. So I just got it up on the rack doing the install. So this is the Jeep we're doing a long arm on. So we're basically to the point that we're ready to weld the brackets back on it. All the brackets are cleaned off the frame. Yeah, all right. Kind of our R&D area as well. We have all of our own machines over here for doing our R&D work, and then we have the lifts in here to work on different stuff. So I kind of dominate this lift since my truck's on it.
That's a nice piece too. That's a beautiful truck.
Yeah, Currie just built a new rear end for it, and I'm going to add a steering brake to it. So I'm getting ready to plumb the brakes on it, and we're going to plumb a steering brake in on it. So this is a 95 F-150, but it's got 29 inches of rear load travel and over 20 inches of front load travel. It's like 650 horsepower.
Fun.
This is all out of this Jeep. This is what you take out. So all this stuff is being replaced to go back in. Those are the those are the brackets to weld on. And this is a JK with a long arm on it. And we're just going back and we're looking at the brackets. These are the original like pre-production bracket, and we're just going back and making a couple little changes for the production version of the bracket. So that's like a pre-runner sway bar. So yeah, they range from 45 inches to 50 inches wide, and then from an inch and 1/8 to an inch and 5/16 in diameter. So I have, that was a project I've just started on, trying to get the pre-runner market to realize, hey, we have a sway bar for you. Arm with the rock nut on it, the bracket. One unique thing about our suspension on the long arm, and I can kind of show you what we did, is the body mount is right in the way of the top arm. What we did is we actually moved the body mount. The body mount, we've already got the what's that?
That bracket's right there.
Yeah, I was going to see if we could see it. On the JK and JL is a little bit different. The body mount was actually right here. So the body mount would have sat right there, the rubber puck. Well, that's exactly where we want our control arm to be, right there. So what we did, we moved that body mount forward and up into this hole right here. And if you notice, there's actually a plug in the frame right there. We actually put a bracket in here that ties this into here, and we put the body mount is up here, so we can get our upper control arm up in here. So yeah, this I don't know if this is the left one or the right one. Oh yeah. But yeah, it actually goes up in there. Goes up in there like that. So this bolt's here, and now instead of the body mount sitting there, the body mount sits up in there. So that was kind of some of the magic that we were trying to figure out. we went back and looked what everybody else was doing, and everybody else was trying to work around the body mount. So what we did, we moved the body mount.
Body mount, yeah.
So we could get the suspension where we wanted it. Same thing on the JK. A little bit different because the body's a little bit different. We basically just moved it forward. The body mount would have been right there, and now it's over here. So and it just ties back in. So because you can see that control arm is exactly where the body mount would have been. So that's something that's kind of uniquely ours that we did.
Yeah, way nicer than bending it out around.
Right, going
yeah.
around and
or
you know,
under.
or under,
yeah.
and the arm's got this big weird bend in it, and so that was
potential failure.
when we started playing with the long arm. That was a thing we kept coming up. Hey, you know, this body mount. We're trying to work around the body mount. Why don't we just figure out how to move the body mount? So that's what we ended up doing, is move the body mount.